Morning, this is James, and yesterday afternoon, Joe McElderry popped in to see us, and I had a catch-up, and you can hear the interview in full today. Well, I'm going to do a bit now, we're going to play another bit after 11, 12 and 1, so right across the day. And first of all, asking about the year that he's had. Joe, thank you for popping in.
It's a pleasure, it's great to be here.
Excellent, it was great to speak to you a couple of weeks ago as well, and obviously at that point, you'd just come out of Pop Star to Opera Star.
I had, yes.
And you said you were heading into the studio directly.
I was, yeah. I went straight into the studio and recorded the whole album in like 7 days. Six and a half days. So it was pretty full on. It was lots of long, sleepless nights.
That must be incredible for pulling an album together in such a short space of time.
It was really exciting because the last album I did was spread out across like nearly 9 months. So it was nice to go the total opposite and do it really fast because you get both extremes. And it keeps us on my toes a bit. You know, it makes us work a bit harder when I know I've got a deadline to get to instead of just kind of... we'll record for a bit and then stop. I had no time to just chill. Yeah. I had to just go for it.
Fantastic. And, coming straight out of a programme, going straight into it like that, you're obviously aware of some of the songs you wanted to put in there, yes. Some of the musical numbers. Can you talk me through, I guess, some of your favourite numbers?
It's basically classical songs. So you've got Ness and Dorma, Time to Say Goodbye, Canto della Terra, and then you've got the other tracks like She Was Beautiful, Dance to My Father, Solitaire, like classic songs that everybody will know, all-time classics. So it's kind of both, and it kind of explains the whole journey, musical adventure I've been on. You know, that kind of, the crossover between the pop ballads and the opera, and it's all incorporated in one album, which is what I really wanted to kind of put in as the concept, like a classic album. And so, you know, there's something there for everyone.
Brilliant. And how did the recording go, mixing this pop styles? And we talked about the opera style and how different that is to sing.
Well, it was quite all right once I'd got the stage of recording, because I was used to flicking between. You know, I was doing shows in between Pop Star to Opera Star, so it wasn't too bad actually then. But at first, it was really hard to flick between the two because obviously you breathe differently and you do different things in pop music to opera, and so it was quite hard. I had a few panic attacks, you know, coming up to the live shows.
Yeah, I'm sure most people can't imagine the adrenaline that must go through you when you're about to go out and perform in that kind of environment.
It is, and it's about controlling it, because if you let too much adrenaline take over, then you get a bit too excited, and if you don't let the adrenaline take over, you get too nervous. So you've got to kind of find that balance between it and totally just ease into it. But I love that feeling. I love that feeling just before you're going to go on and you haven't got a clue what's going to happen. You've just got to go with it. It's all part of being a performer.
Excellent. Well, I have a question here off Facebook from Lydia, who listens to this show. And now that he's winner of X Factor and Pop Star to Opera Star, what would he say is his favourite, pop or opera?
Popra. No, I like them both. I really do enjoy them both, and they both kind of are very different. You know, with the pop stuff, you get to do a bit of movement in your performances and dance and things, and then with the opera, you get to get that emotion out in the songs and really kind of just showcase your voice. So I like them both for very different reasons.
Obviously, you talked about the adrenaline of going out on stage and performing. Really started with the X Factor for you. At the moment, they're getting ready for the new series, new lineup of judges. What's your take on the judges they've got lined up for this year?
I really like it. I think it's a really credible lineup this year, and I think, you know, they all have good experience in the music industry. And I think, you know, although people don't like change, I think it's going to freshen it up a bit. And Simon and Cheryl and Danny will be a miss, but I think, you know, maybe it was time for them to kind of move on to bigger things, I suppose, and let somebody else kind of take the judging roles on. But I think it's going to be a great show. Talking
about Simon and Cheryl, obviously there's been the whole thing of Cheryl possibly involved in USA and then not. What's your sort of take on the situation between the two?
I think, you know, it's a shame she's not doing it. But I think whatever Cheryl does, she does amazingly, and whatever she puts a name to, she always gives 100%, and I think she'll carry on to do amazingly well in whatever she does.
If I could pick, or if you could pick a multi-point, one of the tracks off the album, what would it be?
Over the Rainbow. It's a bit of a different version. It's a bit of a mixed-up version with the ukulele and some bongo drums and an orchestra. It's very nice. Over the Rainbow.
Joe, thank you for staying with us today.
It's a pleasure. It's nice to be here.
It's great to have you in. This is very silly. We do this every day. It's called Star TV, and the listeners get to have a guess of a TV theme from the last few years. So I've put a few together just to see how you might get on.
All right, okay.
See how familiar they are. So all you need to do is have a listen, see what you think.
Okay.
First one, here we go. These are really tough because...
I was going to say, the sound similar to... I was going to say Crystal Maze, but it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, isn't it?
Absolutely right, it is, yeah. Funny enough, one of the guys in the office said Crystal Maze as well.
It sounds a bit like that, but it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one. I think you'll get this one.
Hospital.
That's the one.
Oh yeah, I loved that one.
That was a great
I
program.
remember. I loved the theme tune to that as well. I was always really happy.
The tricky thing with these is they're all quite similar in a
Yeah.
different way, aren't they? And
Coronation Street.
that's the one. Yeah, easy peasy, that one.
Don't know where we're going, got no
I know
way of
this one.
knowing, driving on the
and
road
Paddy.
to nowhere.
Max and Paddy, or Paddy and Max?
Paddy and Max's road travelling thing. Road to
Yeah,
Nowhere.
Road to Nowhere, that's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
Oh, and let me think. I haven't
Should we
heard
move
that
on?
before, in fact.
Do you remember this one? This is quite old.
Off We the Same Pet.
That's the one. Nicely done,
Love that
sir.
show.
Do you know, I think that's a pretty good result.
Yeah.
Overall.
I loved Off We the Same Pet.
Excellent. Right, you're going to hang around for us?
I am, yeah.
Joe McElderry back again just after 12 o'clock. We're finding out a little bit more about him. I've got some quick fire questions for him. I've got to say, I played one of his tracks off the new album Classic in the last hour, Over the Rainbow. I had a text from Dave at Walton's who says, love that by Joe McElderry. I think his voice is absolutely amazing. You're not wrong, and I think it's one of the things about this album. It really sort of showcases his voice, both in the opera stuff and doing the pop stuff as well. And he's such a lovely guy as well. It's really nice to see him. There's some photos on our website if you want to check him out. He was signing autographs for some of the fans that hung around in the rain outside Star Radio for him yesterday. You can have a look at those at thisisstar.co.uk. About time we caught up with Joe again and heard another song, I think, from his new album. If you've missed any bits of Joe, obviously great lad from the Northeast, big from winning X Factor and pop star to opera star, and a local star, and a big friend of the station as well. It was great catching up with him. If you've missed any bits, they'll be on my blog on the website from about 1:30 this afternoon. Go to thisisstar.co.uk, click Star People, James Roberts. You'll find my blog, and you can hear them all again on there from 1:30 this afternoon. Joe, thank you for being with us today.
Pleasure.
Right, I've got a 60-second kind of quick-fire question round for you. Have you ever seen a UFO?
No, I haven't. I've always wondered what it would look like, but I haven't seen one.
Okay, cool. Have you ever seen a ghost?
No, I haven't seen a ghost. I think I'd probably get freaked out if I did.
Not even at Lumley Castle?
No, it's funny, you know, that place is haunted.
Yeah.
That was I didn't like being in there. I was a bit creeped out.
Felt a bit odd, didn't
well,
it?
one of the rooms was my dressing room, and apparently it was the one where the ghost stays, and I didn't like it. I was a bit like over my shoulders all the time.
Cool. What's your favourite takeaway?
Indian.
Okay. Favourite song of all time?
God, now that's a hard one. That always reminds us of being younger. Is Black Eyed Peas, Where Is the Love?
Oh,
it's probably not of all time, but it's a one that I always remember being
Really
good
stands
memories.
out.
Yeah.
Favourite line from a movie or favourite movie?
Grease. I love Grease. Oh, Mamma Mia. Actually, I love Mamma Mia. I shouldn't admit that, but I love it.
Excellent. Earliest memory?
For earliest memories, probably going to Disney with all my family in Florida, and I got pushed in a jacuzzi with all my clothes on by my little cousin, who thought it would be funny just before we're going out for dinner to push us in a jacuzzi, and I was
Nice.
not a happy bunny.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's Sunday. Do
Yes.
you go for a pub lunch or is it your mum's Sunday roast?
Sunday roast, but in a pub.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't tend to have Sunday roasts at home. So yeah, Sunday roast out somewhere.
Sounds good. Where was your work experience?
My work experience was at Durham University Hospital because my auntie's a nurse there, and I went and worked in the hospital for a week.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it was
Excellent.
great. I loved it because I always wanted to be a paramedic or a doctor.
Okay.
So that was why I went there.
Superb. Have you ever been back since?
I have. I went back last year in about February time after I won X Factor to visit the wards and everything and do like a sign-in for all the patients and
wonderful.
everything. Yeah, it was really nice.
Favourite spot in County Durham?
Probably down by the river. You know where
Yeah.
the cathedral is and the cafes are down by the river. I like that bit.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. Cool. And would you choose chilled out weekend or a day on the slopes?
Ski slopes.
Yeah.
Day on the slopes. Yeah, definitely. I love skiing, so it would have to be a day on the slopes.
Right, okay. Let's go back to the music. Obviously,
Yes.
the album you've got coming out.
Yeah.
Can we pick a track to play?
This track is called Dance With My Father, and it's off my album Classic, which is out on the 22nd of August.
Just beautiful, isn't it? Joe McElderry from his album Classic, Dance With My Father. Luther Vandross, I think, did the original of that, didn't he? Beautiful, beautiful song. Catching up with Joe McElderry again in about 15 minutes' time, and he was caught up in the London riots. Don't know if you know this, he was filming a video for his new album and a TV commercial and got caught up in the riots when they kicked off in Hackney. Find out his reaction to all of that in the next 15 minutes or so. Plus...
I've had a blast, so thank you.
No worries at all. Right, let's find out all about the album, because obviously you've been working on this over the last few weeks. What's it like at this point when you're promoting an album as well? You seem to be on the road the whole time.
It's very exciting, actually. Because this is the kind of point when you've kind of produced and worked on an album, this is the point when you start to get people's opinions on it because, you know, the tracks start getting played, people start to hear it, and it starts to get really exciting. It's just before it kind of kicks off. So, yeah, it's quite exciting. Slightly nervous, I think, but I feel like there's less pressure with it being my second album. You know, I was really, really nervous with the first one because it was obviously the first thing since X Factor. But I think now, you know, I just want people to enjoy the music, and as long as they do, then my job's done. So hopefully everybody will love it.
This is probably really hard to answer, but of all the tracks you've put on the album, which is your standout favourite?
Oh God, I like them all. I really like them all, and I think that partly because they're all kind of I wanted to pick them kind of songs that everybody goes, oh, I love that song, or I love this song. I do love the song Canta della Terra. That's it's an Italian song, and it was sung by Andrea Bocelli originally. And I sang it on the show on Pop Star Opera Star, and it has probably the highest note I've ever sang. And although I do love the song, it does give us pangs of stress knowing that I'm going to have to sing that high note live because it's very, very high.
I bet. Do you have to do a lot of warm up to get up to that point before you go on?
Yeah, well, that note I will do. Yeah, normally, you know, I think it's something like an A, which is like the top note that any male can sing. So it's pretty full on.
How would you sort of describe it overall? Obviously, there's this mix of tracks in there. Is it a kind of album you put on if you want to chill out?
I think it's a very emotional album. You know, it has songs that a lot of people can relate to, and when I've played it to family members, there's quite a few of them have cried to some of the tracks. It's quite one of them like heart wrenchers. Yeah. It's songs that everybody will know, and it's kind of introducing, I suppose, opera in a kind of, I would say, watered down version. It's got my kind of stamp on it. It's recorded with an orchestra, so it's really kind of lush sounds, and I'm just hoping that people enjoy the style.
That must be really powerful, being supported by an orchestra in that way.
It's to record with an orchestra instead of just a backing track is absolutely amazing. And you find that you give like an extra 10% on every performance because it just feels like you're performing it live, which is always quite difficult in a studio to try and get that, as you know, because you've got to remember people can't see you when they're hearing these tracks. Yeah. So it's quite good to have that orchestra because it feels like it's a live performance and you get that kind of performance style that you need on the record. Now,
I read one of your tweets that you were in Hackney. Was it filming part of a video or something?
Yeah.
When the riots kicked off around you?
Yeah, I was in Hackney on Monday filming the music video and TV commercials for the new album and the one of the tracks. And it just kicked off. It went absolutely crazy with the riots. Yeah. And there was police everywhere. There was cars on fire. It was quite scary. And people like riding down the street with balaclavas on and like hooded jackets with bricks in their bags and things. It was quite eerie to actually to see that in somewhere where we're not used to it. You know, you don't expect that kind of thing to happen in the UK, and we've never really experienced it before. Or well, I certainly haven't. So it was quite it was weird to see that happen and see like everybody kind of really frantic and not knowing what to do because we don't have any procedures for that. You know, nobody knows what to do in them situations because we've never really experienced it.
You were actually filming at the time, and it was sort of going on around.
It was going on around when we had to contemplate whether to stop and filming because it was getting closer, and then it kind of moved away again, and then they were back in the next street along. But we got all the way safe, and I think you know it was just sad. It's sad to see that happening, but I think it's stopped now, so I'm glad it's kind of dying down a bit.
Well, I'm glad you're back safely from that. How do you sort of feel following that?
I've been caught in it all week. I've been out everywhere I've been this week, kind of been trying to dodge it. Right. Because it's been in Birmingham, when we were in Birmingham, Manchester. Wow. And you can just see people from the different towns, they're really kind of sad about it, you know, and upset that the communities are being destroyed, I suppose. But you know, I suppose it's a small minority, and it's about the community spirit getting there and kind of getting it back to normal again.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Do you have a message for your fans in County Durham and North Yorkshire?
Yes. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm coming back here very, very soon on tour. We're going to announce the dates very soon on joemckelderryofficial.com. So hopefully I'll see everybody who wants to come along then. I think it's going to be, we're doing a date in Middlesbrough. So I'll see everybody.